Hi everyone, this is Lauren Malhoit. I'm a technical marketing engineer with Cisco, specializing in ACI. And in this video, I'm going to show how to do tenant creation in 3 easy ways. So first we'll just start with the APIC, the Application Policy Infrastructure Controller. It's very easy to go in and create a tenant. We'll just click the tenants and click Add Tenant. And we'll give it a names like Production Lauren. Whatever name you want to give it, it doesn't matter. That's arbitrary. It will be descriptive for you and your company. Now we can assign things like tags for some policy automation for this tenant. We can do some monitoring policies and whatnot. Those are optional, and we'll get into that in future videos. We can also do security domains for this tenant, meaning that we have role-based access control, and we can allow either local users or Active Directory users to have certain sorts of read or write access to this particular tenant. And we'll go ahead and click Submit. And it immediately takes me to my tenant where I can do further configuration. Now the second way, we're going to use our vSphere ACI plugin. And there are more than 3 ways actually to configure tenants, but these are probably the 3 ways you'll use most often. So I have my Cisco ACI Fabric plugin already added to vCenter, and I'm using vCenter 6.0 right here. You can see home, we have the vCenter plugin already connected to my APIC, and here I'll just click on Create a New Tenant. Again, I'll enter a name for the tenant, and this might be my dev tenant. I can enter a description if I like. I'll pick which ACI pod I'd like to put this tenant in. So we could have multiple pods perhaps, and we'll click OK. Now if I click on ACI Fabric and go to Tenants, and I'll expand my tenants here. Not only can I see the new tenant that I just created, dev-Lauren, I can see all of the other tenants that have been created, so we're pulling that information in. And finally, the last way to create a tenant is to do it programmatically. I'm going to use Google Postman to show this. But before I show you how to use Postman, we're going to capture some of this JSON code. So the way I'm going to capture it is I'm just going to turn on the API inspector. Show API inspector, I have that up and running, and I'll minimize that. I'll create another tenant just to show you how this works, and I'll give it a name, maybe Test Lauren, and I'll go ahead and click Submit. I'll pull up my API inspector, and I'll just do a quick search for the post method. I see my URL is pointing to my APIC, and then I have the payload down here. So what does all this mean? Well, this is where Postman comes in. It's a REST client that we can use to access our APIC and just input XML or JSON code to configure things programmatically. Now, tenants are a pretty easy way to show you how it works. This could be used in a lab situation if you don't want to create all your tenants over and over again. And this just shows how easy it can be. So first I'm going to log in with Postman because I need to authenticate, right? And we'll change my username and password here. And then I'll click Send to log in to this APIC. If I scroll down, I see that my status is 200 OK. So that means I'm actually logged into the APIC, and that's great. Now what I can do is go ahead and create a new post method to create a tenant programmatically using Postman. So I'll change the method to post because we're actually changing something here. We're not reading it, we're posting it. And I will go back into my API inspector. And remember how I pointed out that URL? Let's go ahead and find that again. I pointed out this URL, and this is the location where I need to add the tenant. If I can actually copy that, and we'll just copy and paste. Control V, done. And what I'm going to do is actually just change this to Lauren2 because I've already created test-Lauren. So we have to tweak it a little bit to create new tenants. We don't want to recreate the tenants we already have. I'll go into body and click raw, and this is where I'll input the payload. So copy and paste. Now I don't need the actual word payload, so we'll just get rid of that real quick. And again, I will change the name to test-Lauren2 within my payload. And then I can go ahead and send that. And we'll check the status. We have a 200 OK. All right, let's go see if I've created a new tenant. Scroll down and I see test-Lauren2 has been created programmatically. Now you can imagine this would be very useful if I needed to create several tenants all at once. It could be very useful in a lab situation if you are recreating tenants over and over again, or if you're a channel partner and you have a lot of the basic configuration already created in Postman scripts, for example, and you can just go into your customers and tweak it according to their needs, change the names of things, etc., and you can do it all programmatically. So thanks for watching. That's it for tenant creation, and we'll be back with more videos.